Welcome to the Fear and Greed Daily Interview. I'm Sean Aylmer. We all know how important it is to build a professional network. It helps to find clients, keep you across what's happening in your industry, and indeed, many of us use it to get a job. Much of that networking is happening online on platforms, particularly LinkedIn. And it goes well beyond personal networking and branding to marketing your business as well. Lucy Bingle is the Chief Executive Officer of lucybingle.com, one of Australia's leading LinkedIn agencies. Lucy, welcome to Fear and Greed.
Thank you. Thanks, Sean, for having me.
Why does LinkedIn matter so much?
Well, it does because it's the world's largest online social professional platform. So it's a real opportunity for people to be able to build their personal brand, their commercial brand, and connect with their target audience, and also do employee advocacy where they can, really celebrate the successes of their people, but also attract really top talent to their organisation.
Okay, so let's get to why do people use LinkedIn? I'm always being criticised by my colleagues at Fear and Greed for not using LinkedIn enough. Others, I think, use it too much. So before we get to how much is good, is it about promoting your wares? Is it about promoting yourself? Is it about your example there, you're encouraging your team? So in a sense, it's actually internal comms. What's it best for?
Well, I don't think it's mutually exclusive. So I think it's actually good for lots of different things. And I think you've touched on it. It is great for demonstrating expertise around what you do, who you serve, how you help. It's a great opportunity, especially if you are looking for your next gig or on a career journey where you're looking for something else or a promotion, etc., to be able to position yourself and really shine a light on your skill set. So from a personal perspective, you can actually build your personal professional brand and put yourself out there to be seen as a subject matter expert. But from an organisational perspective, it's great because you are able to demonstrate what you do, how you help, what services and products you have or provide, and then also who in that organisation will be delivering those or working within that business. So you can actually celebrate those people as well. So there's the personal professional brand, there's the commercial sales and marketing, I suppose, is what I'm talking about. So brand positioning and really talking about the stories of the organisation and what you actually do. And then from a talent attraction perspective, it's really powerful, especially in this very talent short market, to be able to attract top talent to your organisation. And the way we can do that is by celebrating the successes of the business and of the people within the business and really getting our own people or our employees behind that and supporting that strategy to attract talent.
How difficult is it to know the line between the professional benefits of LinkedIn and going too personal?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And LinkedIn is changing all the time, which we know, but it's also changing in terms of, as you say, that sort of personal slant on it. So yes, it's really important to remain, I believe, okay, so this is my perspective, to remain professional and to remember what your purpose is on this platform. So it is around positioning yourself or positioning your business, positioning your people. But what we do know is that we are all multifaceted. We are interesting. We do have other stories to tell.
Some more than others, Lucy, some more than others.
Well, that is true too. So we don't want to hear about that all the time, but we want to be able to inject personality into the profiles and into the people that work for the business or who are the business. And therefore, if you can, so it's finding, as you said at the outset, it's finding that sweet spot between sharing stories around the business and what you do and how you help and case studies and all that sort of good stuff and client testimonials, but then injecting some human stories to bring personality and warmth and humanizing brands, because we know there's a lot of service providers out there. So how do you cut through and be the one that people want to work with? And the best way to do that is actually by sharing your personality a bit and by really creating connection. And that is what LinkedIn can do.
Stay with me, Lucy. We'll be back in a minute. I'm speaking to Lucy Bingle, CEO of lucybingle.com, one of Australia's leading LinkedIn agencies. Okay, so Lucy Bingle, you run a masterclass for LinkedIn. I'm hoping you can give us a few of the main points from it. let's start at the beginning. When you're creating your profile, what should you be including? What's the must-haves and even the must-not-haves?
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to do like a really turbocharged mini masterclass. So
Righto.
I want you to optimize your LinkedIn profile page. So the must-haves are, first and foremost, I want to see a nice, friendly, approachable headshot. I want to see a background image that brings the page to life. And it's not rocket science, but it is about how do you cut through in a really crowded marketplace, given that there's over 750 million people here. So headshot, background image. I want a headline that niches you without alienating you. So I want you to actually be talking to what you do, whether that be by industry, geolocation. So I just want you to think about your headline because it defaults to your job title. And obviously, if you're a CEO or a managing director, there's millions of you out there. So you need to just put a bit of work into that headline. And the other things that I really would love to see on all profile pages is the About Me section completed. That's a real missed opportunity. And that's where you can really quickly articulate what you do, how you help, how to get in touch with you. And the other one that I'd probably throw in there quickly is filling the featured section, because this is vibrant, dynamic, it's aesthetic, and it's an opportunity to include video, press releases, articles, other stuff that really demonstrate that you are the go-to expert in your field.
What shouldn't you be putting in?
Look, I really don't like headlines that are really too creative and that I don't understand. I think some people think that piques interest, and maybe it does in many, but I don't like it when people are trying to be too quirky and out there. So I'd like you to probably steer away from that. I don't want to see too many. Also, in those headlines, you see lots of people throwing millions of emojis and things like that. Again, it's real estate.
Oh, come on, Lucy.
So use it wisely.
Emojis. Use emojis wisely.
Use emojis wisely. I mean, I still use emojis in my posts, but I just use them sparingly. I just want you just to remember what the purpose is all the time on your profile page. And ultimately, for me, I look at it like a capability statement. So I want it to be an evolving document that's really engaging, insightful, that's vibrant, dynamic, and visual.
It's an evolving document, so you need to keep checking in and updating it?
Absolutely, and most people don't. And there again is the opportunity. So go in every 6 months, at minimum, look at it, make sure that you've included your latest, blog posts that you might have done or high-performing posts on LinkedIn. Make sure if you've got any other video content that you've been using on other channels, that you're actually also including it on LinkedIn. Make sure that the contact details are current. I can't tell you the amount of times people announce to the world that they've changed jobs, which is wonderful, and then you go to their contact details and they've got their old email address, or they're driving traffic to their old employer's website.
Yeah. Okay. So what about if I'm creating a profile for a business? We're creating a profile for Fit Read podcast. What should we be prioritizing?
Yeah, that's a great question. And LinkedIn are doing a really big investment drive on company pages at the moment. And there's still a school of thought out there that company pages aren't that valuable. And I would highly disagree with that. So I would like to see that you guys have a really interesting and engaging company page that would be sharing at minimum your podcast. So, making sure that you're sharing insights, your podcasts, your weekly digests, all those sorts of things. So content where you're sharing content elsewhere, you can be repurposing for your LinkedIn company page. There's also the ability now to actually create from your company page a LinkedIn newsletter, and I think that's a real opportunity too. And you could shape that as you like. It doesn't have to be the old school type of newsletter. You could actually turn that into, a weekly digest newsletter and actually just include snippets of information and driving traffic to your podcast or to where other content is being stored, or your website, or whatever the case may be. So I think use the LinkedIn newsletters. Everybody has that. So whether you are a solopreneur or, a multinational, that's the beauty of LinkedIn. It is a pretty level playing field. We've all got access to the same features. Make sure that the company page is doing a mix of really high quality brand content, but also throwing in some good high quality third party content. And what I mean by that is industry news and other sources of content. And why I believe that's important, it really demonstrates that you're outward facing and that you've actually got something to say, about what's going on with your industry. And that, again, elevates you and makes you be seen as a thought leader.
It's funny, the people that I follow on whatever social media medium are the people who often put third-party content. So I'm interested in them, but I'm interested in what they're thinking about too.
Absolutely.
What about, am I allowed to say thought leadership on LinkedIn? I don't really ever want to read that phrase again on LinkedIn, to be perfectly honest.
Well, don't you say it.
I won't. In fact, I can't back it up, so there you go. But no, I mean, there are just certain phrases and terms that always appear, which to me actually turns me off just a little bit.
Yeah, so I do agree with you, because I think there's only few and far between that are real thought leaders. But I think most people are subject matter experts. I just think if you're expert, there are all these terminology phrases or whatever you want to call them that get overused and overcooked and drives us all bonkers. But if you don't want to use the word thought leadership, please feel free not to.
And how often should I be posting? Now, I'm pleased to say Fear and Greed, if you are on the LinkedIn page, Fear and Greed's LinkedIn page, you get to see Michael Thompson, our producer, every morning on a video telling you what's going on. Mm-hmm. And so we're certainly there daily, potentially a little bit more than that. What is optimal?
Yeah, again, there's no firm and fast rule on this, but it is what will keep your audience engaged. I think if you find it interesting what you're sharing, and if you can honestly stand there and you don't want to be spammy, okay? So nobody likes to be completely harassed by content or by people that are sharing their content, and they will turn you off if it is too much. So I would say if you're doing it daily, you probably hit that moment where I wouldn't do more on your company page, because actually what you'll find is you'll be putting too much energy and time into it, and the feed changes so quickly that I'm not so sure that you would reap the rewards of being seen as much as you'd like anyway. I think once a day is probably plenty. From a personal perspective, we always say, ideally, you're looking at 3 posts a week, but you want them to be engaging and high quality. So if you can honestly answer as you're sharing your posts and looking at them, are they meeting our targeted audience's requirements or expectation? Is it engaging? Has it been written well? Is this quality content? Then you're on the right path.
Okay. The big question, Lucy, what companies, what people are doing it well? Who can we cheat off? Who can we Who can we plagiarize off?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I would always look at tech companies, they're always doing things really well, and they're always doing things that are innovative. So go and look at your sort of big brands in the tech space, because they're right in it, so they're constantly experimenting and trying new things. So that's sort of always a good place to start.
I didn't ask about your LinkedIn page, Lucy.
Yes. Well, I'd love you all to have a look at my LinkedIn page.
I will be going straight to your LinkedIn page after this, but how often do you update it, just out of interest?
Yeah, so I probably update it once a quarter, to be honest. So I don't do it more than that, but I have rhythm and consistency around my posting. So I do 3 posts a week on my personal profile page, and I do 2 posts which talk around our expertise, our service offering. And then I try to do something that's a bit softer as my 3rd post. And then once every couple of weeks, I'll really do a personal post, but I always link it back to a business sort of angle or objective or how I've ended up here.
Lucy, thank you for talking to Fear and Greed.
No problem. And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
That was Lucy Bingle, CEO of lucybingle.com. Lucy Bingle, all one word, .com, Australia's leading LinkedIn agency. This is a Fear and Greed daily interview. Join us every morning for the full episode of Fear and Greed, Australia's most popular business podcast. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your day.